The mystery of a haunted island off the Italian coast is a disturbing one indeed. Poveglia is located near Venice in Italy, and its darkened shores are strewn with polished human bones. It is supposed to be so scary that no tourists are ever allowed to set foot on it. When the plague hit Italy in 1576, thousands of dead bodies were piling up in Venice, and the stench was terrible. They needed somewhere to store the rotting corpses, and something drastic had to be done. The dead were hauled to the island and dumped in large pits or burned on huge bonfires. But as the plague became worse, people began to panic, and those who showed symptoms of a Black Death were dragged, screaming from their homes. Children and babies were taken to the island of Poveglia and thrown into the pits of rotting corpses, where they were left to die in agony. As many as 160,000 bodies were dumped there over the years. The whole island is still covered in a layer of ash, the remains of all the burned bodies. Before long, local people began seeing strange things and hearing strange sounds coming from the haunted island. Despite the ghostly goings-on, in 1922, a mental hospital was built on the haunted island. The patients immediately reported seeing the ghosts of rotting plague victims and hearing strange whispers echoing off the walls, but nobody believed them because they were already regarded as demented and insane. The hospital was run by a weird doctor who was interested in experimenting on his live patients, trying to discover what caused insanity. His methods were crude, to say the least. Lobotomies were performed using a basic hand drill or just a hammer and chisel. The crazed patients were taken to the hospital's tower, where they were subjected to terrible tortures. After years of performing these horrible acts, the doctor himself began seeing the ghosts of harrowed plague victims. It is said that the ghosts rose from their graves, overpowered the doctor and dragged him up to the top of the bell tower and forced him to throw himself off the top of the tower, falling to his death. As the mad doctor lay on the ground in agony, drawing his last breaths, a fine mist swirled up around him, entered his body and choked him to death. It is rumoured that the mental patients then bricked up his body in the bell tower. There, his ghost remains, haunting the empty tower for all eternity, and on a quiet night, the tower's bell can still be heard, eerily, across the bay.